Have you ever felt like you have goals or things you're trying to achieve in your life and you're just too busy and you don't have time to get to them? We're going to work on my favorite tool on how you can improve and achieve that today. This is our first time shooting in our Obsessed and Optimistic studio, our home studio. I'm very excited for it. Let's get into it. So we had our podcast earlier. We were talking about goals, and a lot of times people will be too busy. They'll set some goals, but the reason they can't get around to it is they just feel like their day or the work that they're doing, or they have families and kids, and they're just so busy they can't get to it. So in that space, I felt like we needed to add some tools to help them achieve their goals. Like if they're struggling in that, it's not like they don't have the intent, but maybe they're writing out all those goals and then just not achieving them and not finding the way to get to that first step. And that can be really disheartening. And also you can lose a lot of momentum because the fact that they keep writing them down means they want the change. That's the first step. They're actually doing something, saying they want it, but they'll never achieve it because the way that their day is set up is causing them to fail. They feel like there are so many things they have to do that take first priority that they'll never get to it. So today we want to talk on some topics to do that. You ever had any similar experience with goals and things that you've set up?
Absolutely, 110%. And I think right now more than ever, with being so busy between two businesses, two children, trying to get in my own personal time to do things, I just feel like the days are just blowing by and I'm not getting anything done. Matter of fact, I think I told you a few weeks ago, I'm doing all these things, and by the end of the day, I'm like, nothing got done, but I've been doing things all day. Obviously, something is getting done. Whatever I'm doing is keeping the wheels moving, but I'm just not feeling accomplished at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely know there's more time that I need because I've been wanting to do more content creation, more video home tours, and I'm not finding the time I'm telling myself I'm not having the time to do it.
Yeah.
So let's dig in, man. I need
Let's
this.
do it. When you said nothing gets done, that phrase really resonates with me because I remember when I used to run my business and I was just running all the time, I'd have the things I wanted to get done, and then phone calls, emails, clients, situations with the team members I'd be working on, and I ended up leaving. And it wasn't that I didn't work hard all day long, but the things on my list didn't get done. So I felt like I had done nothing. I got nothing done today. Is a real thing. Guys, I have tools to help with this. I'm just going to tell you now, it's going to be in two parts. We're going to do the first part today. The second part has to do with calendaring. I promise you we'll come back around to it, but you need to do this first step.
Wonderful.
So let's get into that then so we can help them move forward. I wanted to start with looking at reality versus what it feels like. And just to use a couple examples before we dive in, an easy one is the person that is dieting, and they're like, maybe they want to control how many calories that they put in, and they feel like they're dieting, they're changing their meals to certain things, but maybe they're not conscious of the snacks that they pick up during the day. And then they finally decide, I'm going to take it seriously. They get an app or whatever to help them, and it's like, put everything in here that you eat for the day. And then when they finally do an actual accounting of it, and they put all the information in, they find that they actually had a whole lot more calories, and now they're aware of it. And they're like, oh, I got to cut out the snacks. Or maybe it was this drink that I kept having, and I got to cut that out. They can make a better decision as soon as they can see the real picture of what's happening. I know in the food space, that's a really easy example. I want to give one more example. And the only reason I'm saying this is because we're going to do a similar exercise in what we're going to do with your own personal time. The second one that I use is money management.
Okay.
So a lot of people will, the check comes in, it goes into the bank account, and it's not like they manage the in and out of everything that goes in their bank account. But if they have like rent or some big bill, they make sure there's enough for that to go out. And then what they do when they're making decisions on whether they're going to go out to eat or whether they're going to buy some new toy or a present for something, they're going to look and see what's left in the bank account. Yeah, I got enough for that. So it's a management of what's left. It's not a management of the entire funds.
Okay.
And it's the same thing if you take your money for the entire month and you do a full accounting of where everything's coming in and out. You have a clear picture of, oh man, here's these apps I signed up for that keep taking money out I forgot about. Or maybe I'm eating out way more than I feel like I am, but when I have to look at the numbers and that's coming out of my bank account, I'm spending way more there than I would want to. You can't make changes without having a clear picture of what's happening. So in that space, we're going to look at your personal time. We're going to have some exercises that are going to help hold you accountable. And I just hope that you will see the whole process through. It's not, you're going to do it by yourself. We're not going to be here to shame you or anything, but I hope in doing the process that you have an aha moment where you see some time that we can change or allocate in a better way, and let's use that to meet your goals. We're here to make hard changes. They're not easy. I'm going to give you a tool that I guarantee if you walk the process through, you're going to be surprised in the end result, just like this easy example with money in your bank account or with food. So let's get into the time and action exercise, as I call it. I was first introduced to this. I did it through a coaching service, and they had me use a chess clock. And a chess clock basically has two sides and a countdown on both sides. And we colored one side green and one side red, and I would tap one side or the other side depending on what type of work I was doing. For my exercise, we would have what you'd call good or bad time. And so if I was working on things that I had put on a list that were good, I'd hit the one side of the clock. If I was working on the other side, I'd hit the other side of the clock. I would use this clock during my productive window. Whether it's 8 to 5, yours might be a smaller window, maybe it's 7 to 2, whatever your productive window is. When you go home at night, you don't need to still keep running the clock. But for your productive window, this is the time we're trying to improve. And maybe you're not business related. Maybe it's just you at home with your family and you want to allocate time better with your family. What's that family window of time you're trying to improve? Let's look at that window. You have to set the window beforehand so we have a consistent, repetitive window for maybe about a week period of time so we can look back and be honest at the numbers. So in this exercise, I'm hitting the button for both sides. What's good? What's bad? And at the end of the period of time, I looked at it and there was just so much bad time that was there. And we had a list of what those things were so I can make changes. So let's talk about how we're going to do that exercise, but with someone like yourself.
I'm focused on the chess clock now. So I need to clarify that. But also you said you had the list of the bad things you were doing. So on top of clicking the good work, the bad work on the clock, were you also taking note of what you considered bad work?
Yes.
Okay. So you have to have a log as well as the clock.
The log is second to the clock, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
I want to fight on
jumping
how to
ahead.
use a clock.
Okay.
You can go buy a chess clock. If we end up having 2 categories, some people might have 3.
Okay.
But just to dial out, you have to have a physical clock.
Mm-hmm.
You can use an app on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You could set up multiple stopwatches.
Mm-hmm.
You could download an app that is a chess clock. I don't care what you use, but you do need to have a physical clock to do it. Don't trust a piece of paper. I know I only spent about an hour on that. Let me write it down. You're wrong. The whole purpose of this exercise is to see that we're actually spending our time different than how we perceive it.
Sure.
So you have to do it with an actual clock that you're clicking on and off, and you have to stay committed to clicking it on and off for everything that you're doing for that window of time. Just giving an example, when I ran my business, one of the things was taking phone calls. So every time I'd be working on a project, a phone call would come in. I had to hit the clock. I do the phone call. I get off the phone call, go back to my thing. The amount of phone calls ended up being a lot more than I thought they were because I always felt like they were quick. But they ended up not being quick. They ended up being a lot more time than I thought. But
Sure.
I didn't understand that. So we have to have a physical clock that we're clicking when we're doing those tasks. So the first thing you have to do is find a clock. Either get one from Amazon, order a chess clock, find an app or something that works on your phone, test it out, make sure that it works. Have a method that this will work for me. I can do this. If you have an app on your phone and you're like, yeah, my phone keeps shutting down. I keep having to open it up. It's really frustrating. If it's frustrating, it's not going to work.
Sure.
Find a clock method that's going to work. And if you have to buy a physical clock, again, Amazon's cheap enough, but make sure you get a physical method of a clock that is simple enough for you to use that you can do it for this exercise. And it's not forever. I just want you to do it for 1 week.
And we want to be as accurate as possible because say one of the things on our goal list is to work out minimum 30 minutes a day or 45 minutes a day. We don't have the time, but if we're tracking every minute, we probably have easily combined throughout the day 45 minutes that we can.
We're going to see where we have.
Let's go.
Now that we have the clock set up, now what we have to do is set up some categories. So again, I can use mine as an example. I have productive things where I was working on my business. So those are billable times that I'm getting paid for. And at the time, I'm the highest billed person at my office. So I'm the best efficiency. I should be billing a bunch. Then I had things where I was working with team members or training. And honestly, with experience, that person has to do some of that. And then there's admin tasks. Maybe I was taking care of some invoicing problems or things that I had. One of the common myths that happens in business is people will say, I'm so busy because I have to do everything or the business will fail. And I can't train somebody else because they don't have all the experience that I have in my head to make the right decisions. So, or even if I train them, that take more time away from what I was doing. So now I have even less time. I can't get to that thing. Well, ultimately what happened in the training space is if when I did the task, I brought that person in to just watch me do it, I'm still doing the task, but they're getting the experience of watching me do it. Then I would have them write out the manual for how to do it. Not me, somebody else that has more time. They would write out the steps. I would approve it. And over time, they would shadow me enough that then when, let's say it was a call that had to be resolved, an upset client, and they're watching me do it. Now the next times with a list they've seen and watching me do it, now when the call comes in, I'm sitting there while they're doing it. And then at some point I have enough confidence that they're doing it by themselves and they have a written manual. So now if they need to train somebody else, they have the method on how to do it. But that whole process came from, here's a step that I won't give to anybody else and I'm scared to offload it. And having a coach or somebody helping me and saying, hey, how can I do this? And I will challenge any of you watching the video, if you have a task that you need to unload or you have something like that, you're like, I don't know how, give me a way on how I can unload this, or tell me what the proper method is. Make a comment. I will gladly give you my 2 cents out there. I am out there to help improve these processes. But going back to our list, things that are productive, things that are not productive. You might have family time, work time, some other alternative. You really don't want more than 3. I did it on 2. Before you start with your clocks, you have to write down everything that you can think of that is in those categories. So here's all the possible things I do to bill out my time. Here's all the possible things I do that are administrative for the office. And I'd write them all down. When you go through your clock and you're doing your day, that piece of paper, or where you ever have that written, it can be on your phone. If you're one of the phone people, fine. If not, you can have it on a set piece of paper. Every time you're hitting that clock and doing something that's not on the list, you have to write it down. And by the end of the week, you'll have a lot more items on the list than what you started with. So one of the first things that you should be learning is there's a lot more things in this category than I thought. And that is the case. That's why you're so busy, but you don't realize why you're so busy, because there's more things on the list than you think is there when you're naturally thinking about it. So there's an honesty to this that gets stuck when we're doing the clock so rigidly. It makes us write out these items. What are we doing? What's on this list? I get a complete list of what's there. Your first step, get a clock. Second step, make your list. Third step is you go through the week, extend the list with new items. When you get done with the end of the week, I'm going to bet that you've probably already made some changes in your head of the changes in time allocation you want to do. But we're not doing that yet. You can personally if you want. If you see it, you can already make the change. But when you get to the end of the week, you have to stop and look at the list that you have. And now we're going to look at the list and say, here's productive things that I bill on. Or again, I'm using my example. You can look at yours for whatever you're trying to achieve. Maybe it's family time. You want it to be better quality family time, whatever it is. I'm going to use the business. I look at the things that I'm billing on and I say, here's things I'm billing on. Am I happy with them? Is it something that somebody else could bill on and I don't have to do and I could free up my time? And I can specifically make the choice of what I want to change. Maybe it is the phone calls like I was talking about, and I want to train somebody else to take that eventually off my plate. And that will free up my time. I'm going to look at those things and say, is everything good here? Do I want to keep it? Or am I going to make some changes? I start with my good list, or the list of the things I like. Now I go over to my bad list. They're going to happen. You're going to have probably more things on your bad list than your good list, whatever you want to call that other list. But these are the things that are keeping me from doing more of the good things. These are the things that are keeping me from not having time to spend on my goals or whatever change I'm trying to do, however necessary they may be. They're the actual thing that's holding us back. So now we take a hard look at the list of things that are not good. And we say, okay, what on here should I really be getting rid of? I was scrolling on my phone on social media. I mean, you work in the social media space. There's part of that you might need to do in your day, but maybe you can do it in a half hour, not 2.5 hours. Maybe just in doing the exercise, we saw that we really were spending a lot more time there. And we want to lessen that time, and that'll give us some time for our goals. Maybe we just take a half hour out of there, and that gives me a half hour that I can spend on my goals. And I would just tell myself the next time I go to look at social media, I'm going to go review my goals and spend 5 or 10 minutes on my goals first, and then I'll go to social media. I'll reward myself with the social media or whatever time that I want there by first doing 10 minutes on the thing I said I couldn't do. And with a small change like that, you'll feel the change in momentum. It will make the change. The bad list, you're going to have things you get rid of. You're going to have things that you offboard to other people to do. You're going to have things that you might just do less, like with the social media example. But that's your first step to being able to make changes in I don't have enough time, is giving a real hard look on how do I use my time, writing it all out, and then giving a hard look of what changes do I want to make. Maybe you write out those changes you want to make and you do another week of the time study to see if it looks different, to see if you can make that change just by, I'm aware of it now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that can happen.
Sure.
If you were to do this, what categories would you use? What would your main categories be?
I like the good time, bad time I think it's a great starting point.
So if you're going to go with that, and it's a little generic.
It is.
Give me a couple things that you would put on a good list for yourself or on a bad list for yourself.
100%, like you just said, social media.
Okay.
Because I'll do it. This morning I woke up. I said, I want to add something more to my life. I'm going to start doing 50 push-ups every morning when I wake up, 100 sit-ups, 100 air squats. First thing. Well,
before you look at your phone.
Before I look at my phone, the first thing I'll do is I always have to go to the restroom, and I like to brush my teeth because it's just like, I can't start my day with.
No one's going to blame you for that. That's a fine habit.
So go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, go back to my room, and just get on the ground, start the process. However, on my way to the bathroom, I had to look at the time. I had my phone. Then I opened up Instagram, and then I'm reading a couple of the DMs, and then I'm scrolling, and next thing you know, 7 minutes has passed. Okay, stop that. Go back to the room. I do one set, because I do 10 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 10 air squats.
Okay.
I take that back. I did 5 sets of 10 air squats first to get 50 air squats out of the way. Then the next 50, I did 10 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, 10 air squats. So that totaled the number, 50, 100, 100. Well, after the first set, what'd I do? Oh my gosh. I had got my blood moving, so I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Grab the phone. Whoa, put that down. I did it multiple times.
Okay.
It took me probably, I'm going to guess today, 25 minutes, which can be done without the social media time. Easily, I would say 15. And it will only get faster because I'm going to get more accustomed to doing it.
Yeah.
But easily, 10 minutes could have been scraped off of that task this morning by not picking up that damn phone.
I love your honesty in giving the example, because I know there's other people that are going to hear this and be like, yeah, I do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the phone does have that feel to look at it. Dopamine hits, you're going to like it.
And you are the expert in this field. You're my expert in many areas of life that I'm trying to improve in. And I do want to ask you this. I don't know if it would necessarily go on that clock, but just overall, one thing that I do too much of is overthink. Like, I'll have an idea, and instead of just acting on it, I'll think about it for days and days and days, and it never gets done.
Okay.
Like a content idea.
Yep.
Or a marketing idea.
Yep.
Would that be able to go on that list, like the thought process time?
You can.
Okay.
So, again, this is me and having experience with different counselors and different people over the years. They say if you're thinking about a thought a lot, a lot of times the reason your brain keeps bringing it up is because it's scared it's going to forget about it. It doesn't want to lose the train of thought, or it thinks there's value in it for whatever it is. And you can, over time, condition yourself to let go of that, so it might not want to do it so much. Mine was writing it down. Some people that have a lot of thoughts before they go to bed, they will tell them, have a notepad on the side of the night table, and whatever is running in your head, write it out. In the very beginning, it might not work. But over time, what will happen is your brain trusts that that's going to be there, and it's not going to forget it. And it's like, oh, I can relax because tomorrow morning that list will be right there.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I'm going to start utilizing that. But I think really what I'm trying to say I'm doing too much of is thinking about this idea I want to put into action and never actually doing it.
That standpoint
So
goes to goals.
Okay.
What you have to do is put on a goal of, whatever these creative ideas are, I want to do one this week. I want to take an action item. And the fail isn't in I thought about it too much. Your time allocations is, how much time do I allocate to getting to do creative thought? If you're spending too much time there, the time will tell you to change the allocation. But in accomplishing it, it needs to be a goal that we look at every week. And if the goal isn't happening, we need to break it up into smaller steps so I can just do that one step.
Okay.
Helping me get there is finding a smaller step and then looking at my goals on a regular basis and starting that process of, I want to complete these goals. I don't want to rewrite them every week, and then the next week when I'm writing them over again, I'm like, it's the same thing over and over again. Like the punishment of having to write it out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this week I'm going to do the one I haven't got to first. But I never get to them. It has to be in a goal format. If you put in a goal and you're constantly looking at them, you'll break it down small enough that at some point you'll do one of the small steps and get the momentum rolling. Okay. The allocation of time is really more for this exercise of what we're doing. And I think that it's really important that you're honest with yourself and how much time is there. The clock will tell you. I don't think it's a bad thing per se. I think that time to reflect and think out ideas is really good for creativity. It might be good for some people's personal social health to have some meditation time or whatever you want. It's just knowing how much that time we're inadvertently doing and almost making more of a solid plan for it. I'm going to plan in this time. And I would say for those that really struggle at disengaging from that during their normal day, looking at your time and creating better habits will make it easier over time. In the very beginning, it's probably hard because you actually have bad habits that we're trying to change. But writing out the ideas and coming back to your set time. Maybe you have a time like, I'm going to put the kids to bed, and then for 30 minutes, I'm going to go over my goals or some of the creative stuff I'm working on, and I'll run through that for about a half an hour, and then I'll write out my notes, and then I'm going to leave it alone. Then I'm going to go to bed. Like, that's my set time. If you start a habit like that and you regularly do it, you won't have so much of it as a distraction during the day because your body knows it's going to get that window.
Okay.
That would be my 2 cents.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Any other examples of good and bad categories? Because I like this, giving our audience some real items to work with.
Definitely just wasting the time on the social media. What else would be bad? I would have to, going through the course of the week while implementing this,
Writing it out.
start writing down. Yeah, because in my mind right now, I'm just like, oh, I waste way too much time scrolling.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's
There's
at
other
least
stuff.
5 more things.
I will tell you, the bad list ends up filling up more than the good list when you're writing it out during the week. That is true.
Okay,
Or at least when I did it, it was.
gotcha.
So how about on your good list? What do we put on the good side?
Good list. Good list.
Where are places you want to be spending time?
Growing the business.
So working on the business itself.
Yes.
Both of them, one in particular.
Both.
Okay.
Yes.
If you was like, hey, I want to grow the business, you can put that down. And this is just time management.
Okay.
But the path of it is time management, calendaring, goals. We gave out the goals, and now we're coming back and backfilling with some of the tools that are going to help you be a little more effective if the goals by themselves aren't working. You can say, I want to work on my business, and the time tracking is fine. It's going to get you, where am I spending my time? And if I'm spending 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever, working on the business, if that time allocation is fine to me, it's great. But when I get to my goals, I might say, I want to achieve this in my business. I'm only spending 4 hours. I'm probably never going to get there if I'm spending 4. I'm going to have to change allocation to 8. I might have to change the time allocation because of the goal I set. But again, once you have this clear picture of the time you're spending, going back to the goals is a lot easier. Or making an honest change to your goals to fit your scheduling. It's not like I'm just making a goal and hoping. I'm making a goal with a clear picture of my time I'm going to allocate to it. And I know at least if I allocate a proper or reasonable amount of time, I have a good chance of meeting that goal. So that is all I have on this episode as far as the time management, good, bad. Get your clock, make your list, write out the list as you do it. Be very consistent with turning that stopwatch on and off or the clock on and off for the steps that you're doing, and hold yourself accountable to everything that you're putting on there. I don't care about the bad things. No one's watching you, but write them all down. At the end of the week, look at your list, make an assessment, make some changes, do this process for a week, and we will have up a calendaring video for you to take the next step after you have a good, clear picture of your time.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in today. I want to give special thanks to Chance Vanek because realistically, all the stuff with the cameras and the mics and the lighting is his skill. I'm trying to learn it, but I'm a noob at it for sure. So thank you, Chance, for making this possible so we can keep putting out good content. Yes, we want to hear any comments from you. If you're struggling with any of these, give us the feedback. I will go out and answer. I'm honest when I'm saying that. But we have more to come. So get this one in so when we get to the calendaring, you're ready for that next step. Thank you for tuning in.